I have bought the cheapest and the highest end Steam Decks and everything in between so that you can decide which one is right for you. Welcome to the Valve Steam Deck. Before we jump in, we'll be giving away a Retroid Pocket 3 Plus at the end of April, so check in the community tab and make sure you're subscribed for a chance to win this. We will also be giving away this teal fully modded Steam Deck in May, so make sure you're subscribed if you'd like to receive this or anything else we give away. Now, what is the Steam Deck? The Steam Deck is powerful, portable PC gaming, designed for comfort and a console-like experience. Knowing this, we're going to go into the details of each device, and there are a lot of different options.
Flushing out the hardware, the software, and the differences between the models.
And we'll even fully customize one of these things. So let's break down into the different models that you can buy right now. So these are the current models we have available from Valve. For $400, we have a 250 gigabyte SSD with a 1280 by 800 LCD display, which comes in at around 7 inches, 60 Hz, and Wi-Fi 5. This includes a 40 watt-hour battery. For $550, the 512 gigabyte OLED model, which comes in with a 1280 by 800 HDR OLED display, going from a 7 to 7.4 diagonal display size, so you get a little bit bigger of a screen. 90 Hz refresh rate, meaning from 60 to 90 Hz, which is nice. Wi-Fi 6E, which is an upgrade in Wi-Fi. 50 watt-hour battery, which is another additional upgrade from the 40 watt-hour battery. And the OLED screen pulls just a hair less power, so you get 3 to 12 hours of battery gameplay, in addition to a longer charging cable, a carrying case, and your Steam goodies. And the highest end model that they currently have available is a $650 1TB OLED model, coming in with a 1280 by 800 HDR OLED display, but with the premium anti-glare etched glass, which I think if you're taking your Steam Deck outside is very worth it. Everything else is the same except for getting an exclusive startup movie and virtual keyboard theme, in addition to a removable liner on your case. And the model I have here is the limited edition model, which has the orange sticks and the fancy case insides. Now, Valve is actually phasing out some of the older models that originally launched. So the 64 gigabyte LCD version is actually going for $350, which has the 1280 by 800 LCD display, 7-inch diagonal display screen, 60 Hz, Wi-Fi 5, 40-hour battery, all that jazz. Same stuff, just for 64 gig. Now, the upgrade they have left available while supplies last until it's out is for $450, you get a 512 gigabyte LCD, same display, but with that premium glass. And these will be available until they are sold out, which I think is something nice that Valve does. They, in addition to this, have a certified refurbished section on the Steam store, which our 64 gigabyte version of our Steam Deck, which was our lowest model version, we were able to get, and we were able to do a full upgrade gamut on. So we upgraded the screen to the Deck HD screen, swapped out the shell so we could have a cooler color, swapped out the sticks so that we have Hall effect sticks, and touched every piece of this device, proving that it is basically new when you get a certified refurbished Steam Deck. It is a very good experience. Not new, but about 90% new. So this is the hardware section. We're going to talk about why I think the Steam Deck is doing so well due to its hardware, and what you can do with the hardware itself. The Steam Deck's hardware is one of the reasons why I think this device is doing so well. They made a big effort to put full-size console controls on this device, making it feel suited for not just kids, but also adults and anybody who wants to actually play something for more than a few hours. With the screen differences and battery differences aside, the actual hardware of the Steam Deck is around the same, so the size of the device is the same across all the model, in addition to all the buttons and joysticks. Let's go through those now. For the joysticks, we have 2 touch-sensitive joysticks, meaning they'll know when your thumb's on the stick. They are also clicky, not squishy. 2 trackpads that have a rumble feature built into them, which is very cool. And they are not clicky or squishy, but when they depress, you do feel a rumble, which is very interesting. The Steam and hamburger menus are squishy and not clicky, along with the A, B, X, Y buttons. They are squishy, not clicky, while the double box and hamburger menu button at the top are squishy and not clicky. In addition to the D-pad on the very left side of the device, which is squishy, not clicky. And this is one of the big selling points for me, is that the sticks are directly to the sides of the buttons, making this incredibly comfortable for long playing sessions because you don't need to cram your thumb down into different sections of the device. Now, along the top and back, we have a power button, which is clicky, not squishy, in addition to a LED indicator light, a USB-C charging and pass-through for all sort of data, a grill for heat to come out of, a 3.5mm headphone and microphone jack, volume rocker up and down, which are clicky, not squishy. In addition to the trigger buttons, L1 and R1 are clicky, not squishy, while L2 and R2 are squishy, not clicky. Following around the backside of the device, we have 4 rear trigger buttons, R4, R5, L4, and L5, which are all clicky, not squishy. Finishing down at the bottom of the device, we have an SD card slot. And that's it. There's nothing on the sides of the device.
This brings us to a big question of the screen. Which one's right for you? Well, let's check all of them. Even the Deck HD screen. If you possibly want to buy a broken Steam Deck, fix it, and have one for even cheaper.
Broken Steam Decks aside, we have all the different options right here. That is a glossy and matte LCD version, a glossy and matte OLED version. In addition to, we upgraded a glossy 64GB refurbished version to a Deck HD matte screen that has a higher resolution. All the other screens have the same resolution, but the OLED versions have a 90 Hz refresh rate versus a 60 Hz refresh rate on the LCD versions. That 90 Hz is just better. It feels better and is more snappy. The 60 versus 90 debate will be dependent on what games you are trying to play, but each one of these Steam Deck options is a good choice. Now, when it comes down to which screen is the best, that is really going to depend on what you actually want to pick. Personally, my thoughts are the Steam Deck OLED from a stock experience and what you have to put in to get this to where it needs to be is my choice. The Deck HD screen comes in at second, but you have to have the technical knowledge to be able to pull out the old Steam Deck screen and replace it with a new screen, which is not easy. I had to use a heat gun and be able to remove the adhesive and not break it, putting it back in. This requires you to take out nearly every part of the Steam Deck, and if you're good at tinkering, this will be okay, but if you've never done this before, it's going to take you all day to do this. This leaves us with the stock experience on the Steam Deck. The lowest end model Steam Deck, the 64GB refurbished LCD models. If you are picking that and trying to spend the least amount of money possible, I think this is actually your best value point. You get all of the great Steam hardware and software, and the screen at that point is really just a means to playing the device, not the selling point of the device. It's everything else is the selling point. And the LCD really just, it doesn't matter at that point. You're still going to get a fantastic experience with the deck, even if you choose the lowest option.
Ooh. The hardware Valve has come up with here is the reason why that this is one of my favorite devices right now, because it just feels fantastic when you're playing it, and playing it for many hours. So bringing this on a plane is a no-brainer, and any other form of travel, or even the quick offload of pictures, because it is just a computer. Now, this being just a computer made the software the most important part of the Steam Deck. It had to be a console-like experience and be able to be offered at multiple different levels of price so that you can sell it to a lot more people. And I think the software was one of the biggest reasons why this thing is still flying off shelf, or out of Steam's warehouse, because I don't think it's sold anywhere, just off the Steam store.
Ooh. And just like the Steam store, we all know I'm a sucker for good software deals, which means the user experience needs to be dead simple. When you turn this on, you need to be able to immediately see what your games are, what you have installed on the device, and what you can download to play next. Things easily shown in big icons, and a quick resume from what you were playing last. I think they absolutely nailed this aspect, where they made it as easy to use as possible, but then also baked in a bunch of different options that you can go into. So you have all of the stats for nerds, but in addition, you can just keep it off, which is a huge selling point for people who want to get into handheld gaming, but may only have a Steam library and a desktop. This is a fantastic way to jump in. In addition to using their community software, jumping on and talking to friends, or installing Discord, because it still just is a computer. Now, it's a Linux computer, so there's a few workarounds to get it to play in Steam, in the Steam overlay, but you're still able to do it, which is very nice. I think this is the largest selling point of the Steam ecosystem at this point, which is the Steam Big Picture, the Steam Deck OS, and Steam in general as a platform. Can't say enough good things about this.
So, the software being such a fantastic feature of this device is really what stands out in a now crowded market. After the success of the Steam Deck, and over the last few years, they have launched many different other competitors. The Lenovo Legion Go, the ROG Ally, many other Windows-based handhelds that are being drop shipped out of China. There are a slew of them now. I think the biggest thing here is a lot of them are Windows-based, meaning you're going to still have to deal with Windows to get to your games, versus the Steam Deck, where you're dealing with Linux and a development platform that was plopped on top of Linux to run like a console, which I think is the big feel difference when you pick up an Ally and it boots into Windows versus picking up a Steam Deck and it booting directly into your game library. No fuss, no muss. I don't know what the muss is, but there was possibly a fuss about it. And I think this is why that the Steam Deck has made such a hit of itself, because of the software and because of how the hardware is. Now, that's a lot to say because that's basically naming the entire device, but it speaks true because they've sold over 3 million copies now. We don't know firm sales figures, but that's up there with tons of other game systems, like insert into voiceover, because I can't remember them right now.
Stuff like the Atari 7800, the Magnavox Odyssey, the Neo Geo Pocket and Pocket Color, the Sega Mega Drive, and it's coming up on the NES Classic Edition and the Wonder Swan. That's one crazy bird.
That's a ton of different consoles that the Steam Deck has done better than in sales just in the few years it's been out. In addition to that, the community has gone absolutely bananas with this device. There have been companies that have released docks, shells, grips, bags, and that's what we're going to talk about now. There's a few different products in this next category that people have sent over for testing, but I think they're awesome. Not because they sent them over for free, but because they are what I'm currently using to charge, store, and lug around my Steam Deck in. So let's look at the accessories now.
I'm currently using 2 different cases because I still have 2 different Steam Decks and 1 to give away. If you're looking for the giveaway, it's in the community tab. The TomTalk case is like a hard neoprene shell, kind of like a Pelican case, but completely formed to your Steam Deck. I think this is awesome for storage or throwing into your bag and not worrying about it if you don't want to have a case that's bigger than the actual device. Now, I've also been a fan of the JSOX. This thing has a hard front cover that you slide onto the front, and it's great for travel. I've been throwing this thing into my bag for about 2 years now, and I've had no issues. I've used it on both the Steam Deck regular and Steam Deck OLED. I've also been developing a few different stands for Game Boys, handhelds, and the Steam Deck here, which are called hollow stands. The whole point of these stands, and why they're called hollow stands, is because we want them to be as minimal as possible while supporting the device on a desk or shelf. So you don't want to see the stand, you want to see the device and not what it's sitting on. If you're interested, these can be either sold as 3D prints or the files themselves so you guys can download them. If you're interested, leave a comment down below. I'm trying to see if anyone would be interested in purchasing these to support the channel. In addition to that, we have charging cables. These charging cables are awesome. The company sent them over to me, and they are a magnetic charging cable that has the ability to charge and have data pass through far faster than what the Steam Deck could possibly handle, and does this fancy cool magnetic cable management, which is very helpful when you're traveling with these or just making sure that your workstation's nice and clean. Now, in addition, we have the TomTalk travel bag, which if you're looking to travel with the Steam Deck, it's not a great shape to throw in a backpack because it's a weird shape. It's like a controller with a screen in the center. So this sling bag is something nice that you can put into your travel bag or travel case or carry on luggage when you go somewhere. And then when you get out or get into the airport, you can have this on your person and have all your other stuff just stuffed away. This is big enough to hold a bunch of different accessories, or if you want to travel with the Steam Deck in addition to like 2 or 3 other handhelds if you're going for a long time and want to have just something to go. Or if you're throwing a camera in there, it's a fantastic little bag that has some waterproof stuff, and it's just a very nice mid-size sling pack that you can fit a bunch of stuff in, and has the compartments specifically designed for handhelds in mind, like the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, the large market of things that are on and available now. And if you're going on a weekend holiday, I absolutely recommend you bring the Steam Deck, a mid-size handheld, and a tiny handheld. handheld. So you can keep one in your pocket, mid-size for when you don't have a lot of time, and the Steam Deck for everything else. And definitely Bluetooth headphones.
Now what happens if you've broken your Steam Deck? This is another big point of why I think Valve has absolutely kicked it out of the park. They have partnered with iFixit to provide replacement parts for this device for the near future, and I'm not sure how long, but that in and of itself is providing yourself with, maybe I just sat on my joystick and snapped it off. They've got a drop-in replacement for that. Even better, the community's large enough that Gully Kit's made a different stick for that too. So if you want to change how the thing actually works and feels, do that easily. Between the software, hardware, and support, I think this is why they've pushed so hard into this being an absolutely fantastic product and hit a market and niche select group of people that were gaming on their computer but wanted to take it on the go. The usual idea was to have a computer and then just have a Nintendo console because they don't release their games anywhere else. But now, with just a computer and some fancy emulation that might not be happening anymore, you just need your Steam library, computer, and a Steam Deck. For me, that's plenty. And it's really a huge sell for people who already have a Steam library, in addition to pulled ROMs from many years of different devices and consoles. I can play my entire GameCube library again because I still have all the CDs. The GameCube doesn't work, but I do have those tiny CDs still, which is very nice. So, if you'd like a more in-depth look at all of these different devices that Valve has, let me show you these videos. I've done a before you buy on each one of these different devices, so check them out here. The Steam Deck OLED and a fully modded out Steam Deck, I have the instructions for on how to do these types of things. In addition to just looking at all the Steam Decks that have come out and all the different videos I've done on this. I have a whole slew of videos in a playlist, so check it out. That's all I got for today. Not sure. People, pickles, puppies.